Guess what, everyone? Kings Island just found out what their next roller coaster is going to be.
They did?
And if you want to find out what it's going to be, you have to stay tuned to the end of this video. As we all know, Kings Island is one of the top parks in the Cedar Fair chain. So that means that they're going to get a lot of investment.
Definitely.
And their last major investment was Orion, that was built in 2020. Now, since then, that has been now 3 years.
3 whole years.
So it stands to reason that within the next year, probably 2, they're going to get their next major roller coaster. And when you start thinking of a next roller coaster, you have to start thinking of what kind. You have to start thinking of manufacturers.
Manufacturer, type of coaster, and of course, where in the park it's going to go.
And Kings Island has, I think 2 big spots that are prime for a new roller coaster. One being up in the front, you have that old dreary entrance that a lot of people don't like, and you have Action Zone that I think is getting a little bit stale. So putting a new roller coaster that interacts with a brand new entrance, kind of like what Gatekeeper does at Cedar Point.
Fury 325 at Carowin, stuff like that.
That would be something that I think a lot of people would love to see Kings Island do. Also, you have the back lot, which in the back where Vortex was torn down back in 2019. So for 4 years now?
That's 4 years where the Vortex plot, it's just a big empty field. It's has a big hole in it. It's just sad and empty, and there's a fence around it. It's pretty ugly because there's nothing there.
So it's a constant reminder that, hey, there used to be a big roller coaster here, and now it's a big empty field. So, hey, Kings Island, why not put a roller coaster there? So out of those 2 spots, I'm not sure which one they would lean to first. I guess I could see them going either one. When you think about manufacturer and roller coaster type and where it's going to be, when you, like I said, manufacturer, you start thinking about what manufacturer does Cedar Fair love the absolute most. I'll give you guys 1 minute to think about it. Your minute is up. It's called B&M.
B&M.
That's their favorite manufacturer because it's nice and safe. B&M is known for reliability. They're good operations, good throughput. A lot of people get to ride it.
And they get built very, very fast.
They tend to be on the more expensive side. That's the one downfall. But Cedar Fair always looks to B&M whenever they need a nice, safe ride that just the general public, people just come into the park, will look at and flock to and seem to love. Kings Island has Orion, Banshee,
Diamondback. Yes, lots of B&Ms.
And so across the Cedar Fair chain, they love B&M. So it's reasonable to assume that they might be looking maybe towards a B&M.
That could be reasonable.
So if we decide that they're going to go towards B&M, and let's say they're going to fill in that big empty spot back where Vortex used to be, because they don't have to invest any money in land clearing or they don't have to do anything. It's already a big empty field, so they can save some money in that aspect because they don't have to change the entrance or anything like that. So let's say B&M, let's say big empty field. And another thing Cedar Fair is kind of getting into a big kick on is nostalgia.
You can look at Cedar Point. They have the brand new area for this year, the boardwalk.
With Wild Mouse.
Yes, with Wild Mouse. Wild Mouse was an old coaster that they used to have. And then Worlds of Fun is building Zambezi Zinger, which used to be a coaster that they had when the park opened.
I think it might have opened with the park. I'm not 100% sure, but I know it's an old ride that people seem to love at the park. So Cedar Fair seems to be going back into the old well and finding old roller coasters and bringing them back to life in a brand new modern roller coaster. So then if you think about Kings Island, could Cedar Fair be doing that with Kings Island? What old roller coasters did they have? They had the Bat, and that was already brought back, and now you can ride the new Bat right now. They had Son of Beast.
Which, I don't think that they're going to bring back Son of Beast because, I don't know, maybe it was, kind of famous, but for, bad things because it was, really bad and a lot of stuff happened to it.
It was rough. A lot of people got hurt on it. So maybe they're not going to be so quick to say, hey, let's bring back another ride called Son of Beast since it has such a bad stigma to that name. And then you think back, okay, what other old ride did they have that might be iconic with the park? And I know when I was young and I first visited Kings Island, when I came back, this name stuck in my head. And this was like the only ride that I really remembered coming back home from Kings Island. And that is King Cobra. King Cobra was a Togo stand-up roller coaster built in 1984, closed down in 2001.
So it did not last very long.
Only 17 years, but they didn't take it down because of any reason other than the fact that Togo went out of business and parts were becoming hard to get. So they kind of really had no choice but to tear it down. So you think, okay, maybe Kings Island, they love B&M. They want to go back to an old iconic roller coaster, King Cobra. So you look at B&M and say, hey, do you have anything that might fit what King Cobra was?
Wait, I thought, but B&M stopped making stand-up coasters, I thought.
They did, because B&M built a bunch of terrible stand-up roller coasters. These things were very compact, based on a lot of inversions and tight turns that caused a lot, like you were just uncomfortable.
A lot of them got turned into floorless coasters to make them a lot more enjoyable.
And even those aren't enjoyable. So, I mean, that's so B&M went like 0 for 2 on that one. So now you got to think, what does B&M have that could end up being called King Cobra? And they just so happen to have a brand new stand-up roller coaster model called Surf Coasters.
Surf Coaster, and like you said, Surf Coaster is just a fancy name for stand-up coaster.
So you have Kings Island in Cincinnati. So now you can travel all the way down to Florida, Orlando, where they have SeaWorld just opened up their brand new surf coaster Pipeline the other day. Now, they announced this a little while ago, and as soon as we heard about Pipeline, we knew that it was going to be like a great roller coaster.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be one of the best.
B&M headquarters.
This is SeaWorld.
Oh, hi, SeaWorld. What can I do for you?
Your worst coaster.
What, our worst coaster model? We have a floorless that no one seems to like.
Worse than that.
What, even worse than our floorless? Well, we have a stand-up that absolutely everyone hated. Do you want one of those?
We'll take it.
Really? Okay, if you say so. So Pipeline just had their media day, and everyone who's ridden it and everyone who now, I think now they're starting to open up to pass holders and stuff. Everyone who's ridden it has said how crazy good it is.
Really?
Yeah, people love this thing. You're getting airtime on a stand-up coaster.
You're getting airtime? I wouldn't want airtime on a stand-up coaster. That would be, a bad thing.
Well, you get airtime on a stand-up coaster.
Well, that doesn't sound good.
And the layout, I mean, I could tell the layout was a lot different. As soon as you saw it, it wasn't this little space where you're flipping around and a lot of positive G's, putting a lot of force on your body. This is more graceful and spread out through a large area.
Plus, the seats go boing, boing, boing. They bounce up and down, and I guess that'll just make things more comfortable. It seems like it would be a lot better than like the seats not moving like their old models. And people say that it's comfortable and didn't hurt.
People are saying that they're pretty comfortable. They are saying that the vest can be a little restrictive.
Oh,
right
yeah,
now.
it is a vest restraint.
It's a vest restraint. So it could be a little restrictive right now, but maybe they just have to loosen up a little. Like,
I mean, vest restraints are very restrictive, so that's probably it just will be like that.
But vest restraints also keep you from any sort of headbanging, so you don't have to worry about that on any rides. So even though like Banshee is an invert at Kings Island, and they have vest restraints, and I actually prefer that over some of the older B&M invert models that have hard plastic that you're just like boom, 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 boom. But I can just imagine that Cedar Fair executives were staring at social media, waiting to see what their reactions were for Pipeline as soon as it opened. They were probably scouring all over social media, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, everything, and seeing what people's thoughts were. And whenever people had a bunch of positive thoughts on it, I'm sure they were just like immediately like, okay, we have B&M, we have because Cedar Fair has bought some stand-up models in the past and got burnt with them, and that was their old model. So they probably weren't too quick on saying, hey, let's just jump into this stand-up thing again. But as soon as they heard how comfortable it was and how people were really loving it, I'm sure They said, hey, you know what? A B&M company that they love. And I think Pipeline was only about, I think like $7 to $10 million, something in that range.
That seems pretty cheap.
So that's a pretty affordable B&M, because a lot of B&Ms will be upwards of like 20 million or even more whenever you get into like gigas and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is nice, $7 to $10 million. I guess it depends on how big you make it and how many, like if you make it multi-launch or something. I don't know. I'm sure you can vary in price. I'm sure B&M can custom fit some things for a park if they need it. But I can just imagine them sitting there excited over this, because B&M was not growing stale, but they had the invert, they had the dive, they had a wing,
Mm-hmm.
they had a hyper.
They were building all of these
Giga.
models, and they had so many, but
And Cedar Fair had a lot of them.
yeah. And then when you get all of them, then you run out of new stuff to build. But now B&M just made a new model that seems like it's another hit.
So that's it for this video. What do you think? Do you think Kings Island could be getting King Cobra 2.0 in the form of a new B&M surf coaster in the future? I don't know. It seems like it makes sense to us. So tell us if it makes sense to you down in the comments section, or do you think we're absolutely crazy?
Absolutely crazy.
If you
I don't
think we're crazy,
so.
then don't say anything in the comments, because we don't want to hear that kind of nonsense in our comment section. But either way, if you like the video, go ahead and like it, subscribe. Down in the description, there will be a link to a channel membership page. And there you get to be like all these lovely ladies and gentlemen who are oh so kind to join our channel membership, which helps out the channel oh so much.
And it helps you out too by getting lots of exclusive content, top secret content only for members.
Well, what's better than that? So thank you guys all for watching this video. We will see you guys right here next time on Beach Cliff Finish It.
Studios.
The video's over. Go
Why
home,
are you
people.
still here? Why are you still watching the video?